Welcome to the lecture on application structure. Today we will discuss about application structure. These are the contents we will discuss about this application structure and user interface features, transactions, in that transaction, characteristics of transaction, transaction state and types of transactions, data storage methods. What are the different types of data storage methods? The common for sequential, pointers and indexing storage methods. Next one is data clustering and partitioning. That is, what is data clustering, data partitioning and data stripping and RAID storage methods. First we will discuss about application structure. So in this application structure, the layout or structure of the application defines how the user will deal with the applications. For example, if the user or otherwise if the user are developing an application, in that application how what are the layout or otherwise structure of the application is designed. The first we will discuss about, for example, any one of the application login form. In that login form, in what way you have to designing the login form. Either you need a username and password and submit and cancel button means. In that username and password is designing in designing purpose we need two attributes for this username and password and submit your button, submit and cancel. Here the first step is designing the structure or architecture of the application is to design each and every forms. The objective of main application structure is to organize all the forms and reports to produce the complete application. So if you want to develop or if you want to create a multiple form means in multiple form how it is interrelated with the each and every form, to organizing all the forms and to produce a report from this particular application, then only the complete application is designed. And next one is user interface. Here user interface is a view of database interface that is seen by the user. So for example, user interfaces are graphical user interface which at least the partial graphical constructed and other tools which make the interaction between the database easier. For example, login form means the backend application will be stored in a login details. In this login details, username and password is saved in this login details, whether it is properly correct or not. That is, the user once click on that submit button, it will check whether the backend application is whether the username and password is if it is correct or not. So that is called as the user interface between the application, that is front end application to back end application. Interaction between the application layer and database layer. And user interface, what are the features of user interfaces? Here the three features of user interfaces, one is menu, toolbars and custom help. Menu means list line of options displayed at the top of the application. So what are the menus we need? If you want accessing that particular menu means you can directly click on that menu and access it. And toolbar means it consists of set of icons and buttons that perform the command task. For example, if you want to set the submit button means in that button is created, or otherwise a set of icons, different kind of icons placed in a toolbars. And custom help, that is system is a crucial component of any application. Next concept is transaction. The main concept is important concept is a transaction database management system. Here the DBMS deal with the transaction. A transaction is a unit of program execution that access the possible for update the various data items. That is, transaction is a logical unit which is for which is involve multiple changes in the databases. The current status of the databases, current transaction will be saved in a database. It is defined as a set of changes that must be made in a altogether. For example, in this transaction, the transaction to transfer the amount from account A to account B means here these 6 steps for creating a transaction. First step is first read the account A, and second one is reduce the account A from that $50 for account B. Once it is reduced for that amount for account A, automatically it write the immediate transaction for right of A account A. And fourth step is write the B transaction, that is B account B, and you just credit that $50 from that B account B equal to B plus 50, that current account will be saved in a same account B and write the immediate transaction of account B. So this is the simple step for creating a transaction from account A to account B. The main two issues to deal with the transaction, one is failure of various kinds of hardware failures and system crashes. If suppose any hardware failure and system crashes occurs during the transaction, means it considers this kind of issue will be deal with the transaction concept, and concurrent execution of multiple transactions. And the second issue is concurrent execution of multiple transactions. In order to maintain the consistency of the consistency in database before and after transaction, the certain properties are followed. ACID property. What is ACID property? That is atomicity, consistency, isolation and durability. So this four property is to ensure the accuracy, completeness and data integrity. So to preserve integrity of data, database management system must ensure the first property is atomicity. So when the transaction is processed, the atomicity property is for ensure that either all the operations of the transaction properly reflected or none, or database or none are. For example, if suppose any transaction is processing, means that current transaction is either the reflected or not. So this is called as atomicity. So atomicity which monitors either the transaction is completely done or otherwise is nothing has to be done in the transaction. This is called as atomicity. Consistency means execution of transaction is isolation preserves the consistency of the database, that is through which the valid data sets where data gets into the database. This is called as consistency. And isolation means although the multiple transactions may execute concurrently, each transaction must be unaware of other concurrent executing transaction. That is, the transaction must be isolated, it executed on the isolated. It cannot, that is the first transaction, otherwise transaction is, it cannot bother about the other transactions. The immediate transaction result must be hidden from other concurrent executed transactions. If you are in the middle of the transactions, other process won't be able to get the data until the first transaction is completed. For example, every pair of transaction, if you are taken from the Ti and Tj of the two transaction, if suppose it appears that Ti, that either Tj is finished or otherwise execution before the Ti is started, or Tj is started after the execution of Ti is finished. So this is the concept of isolation. Isolation means the transaction completely execute or started executed or otherwise completely complete that particular executions. So that different transactions are executed in a isolated. And next one is durability. After the transaction completes successfully, the changes that has to be made database persist if there is a system failure or occur. So once the transaction is committed, even the system is crashes, there should be way to get back the data. So once the commit state it is completed, means the current status of the transaction is save it back, or otherwise if suppose any hardware failure or either the system crashes occur, means it cannot roll back from that transactions. The above mentioned properties should strictly followed which we are doing any transaction using in the database. Usually database follows this transaction in a session management and logging mechanism to implement this transaction for these three properties, ACID property, for effective manner. Next one is transaction state. Transaction state for the 5 transaction states, one is active state, partially completed state, complete state, failed and aborted. So once the transaction is started or otherwise begin the transaction, it goes like for the either the transaction is partially completed and immediate committed state. If it is a failed, any system crashes occur or any problem occurred in this during the transaction, the partial completed is sent to abort state, or otherwise the here active to abort state for failed state, and immediately the transaction is aborted. These are the 5 state for transaction state: active, partially committed, failed aborted and committed. So active means the initial state, the transaction stays in the state while it is executing. Partially committed means after the final statement is over, that is it is completed, has been executed, means it is called as partially committed. Once a partially committed means automatically after the successful transaction is completed, that is it go for the committed state. If it is not means failed state or aborted state. In case failed state means after the discovery that the normal execution can no longer for exceeding, no longer to proceed. If suppose no longer for proceeding for that particular transaction means automatically the transaction failed or it go for the aborted states. Aborted state for after the transaction has been rolled back, the database restored its state prior for the state of the transactions. Two options after it has been aborted: restart the transaction, either it can be for no internal logical error or kill the transactions. And here the two types of transaction, one is explicit transaction and another one is implicit transactions. Explicit transaction means explicit or those that need to be either the commit statement or rollback statement. In this commit transaction signals that the transaction was executed successfully, means it is for commit transaction, or otherwise it changes and updates made by the transaction have been committed to the database. These changes cannot be undone from the database. And rollback means this statement is signal that the transaction was not successfully executed. Changes and update made by the transaction have been undone. That is, you can usually roll back from the transactions. And implicit transactions make beginning and end of the transaction. Each and every statement like either they update, delete, insert, run with these implicit transaction, it support with this TCL command, that is transaction control language commands in a SQL server. And what is the next we will go for the next topic is data storage method. What is data storage? So data storage means a term how the information is kept in a digital format that may be retrieved from the in later time, means you can use it in the data storage. So how can data can be stored in a database with the help of the database storage structure. So database tables and indexes may be stored on disk, one of the number of forms including the ordered and unordered flat files, ISAM, heap files, heaps of buckets and B++ trees. Each form has its own particular advantages and disadvantages of different storage methods. Let me see one by one. For data storage methods, there are primary methods for data storage method is sequential storage, pointers and indexes. Sequential storage, that is sequential storage is the simplest storing method. Each row is stored in a predefined order, that is sequential orderly. The data the records will be stored in a table. The data are retrieved in order, specified access, fast, and storage space is used efficiently. Sequential access system is data is accessed by the fixed order. So if suppose if you want to accessing a 10th record, means you cannot accessing directly from the 10th record, you go from the first to 10th record, that is first record, the line the sequential order only we get the retrieving the data from the 10th record. This is called as sequential storage. And the main advantages of sequential file is sequential storages. Sequential files are stored in a backup or transporting data on different systems. Sequential ASCII file is a popular for export and import format with the database system. So predefined structure or ordered in a sequential files is easily stored in a database. The main drawbacks of sequential file storage is database has to be retrieved every row in the table, hence finding the arbitrary for much slower. If suppose we have 100 record, means in that 100 records, if you want to pick from the 99th record, means you cannot go from the directly, you can retrieve from the 99th record, go from start from the first record to 99th record. So it is much slower for a sequential file, main drawbacks. It takes no longer to physically access to any kind of piece of the data. That is, if the computer has to run all in order, means until to find the correct piece of the records. Our next step for next storage method is pointers. The solution to the problem for sequential table uses the indexes. Why we can use this for the indexes? So with the help of the indexes to access the data much faster when compared to sequential files. So indexes helps to understand to use the pointers. With the help of the pointers, we can pointing from that easily can retrieving the data. If suppose the pointer which points to the 99th record means you can easily retrieving the 99th record with the help of the pointers or indexes. When the data is stored, it is stored in some locations. This location can be in a memory, but a database is concerned with the storage with the disk drivers. This location is identified by the some type of addresses. So what does pointer means? A variable that which points to the address is called as pointer. So the variable which point the address of the location is called as pointers. Two kinds of pointers, one is physical pointer and another one is virtual address pointers. Physical pointer means which is used to provide a faster access of data. Here the disk drive is physically divided into several pieces. The individual drive is called as a volume. Each drive consists of several platters and each side of the platter is accessed with the driver head, and this driver head is divided into number of tracks of data, and the tracks of data further divided into sectors and cylinders. So the data will be stored in the each and every tracks of the sectors. And the physical data is stored in a certain number of bytes from the start of sector is called as offset value. And drawbacks of this physical pointer is database tied with a specific disk drive in a physical pointers. To restore a backup or move the database to the new drive means data must be stored in exactly for the physical location, not for other locations. But virtual addresses, here today we are using from that, instead of physical addresses we are using from this virtual addresses. So virtual addresses could be pasted on the imaginary disk layout. You cannot fix it in a physical disk driver in a physical address, but it is for an imaginary disk layout. In this imaginary disk layout, it is referred for the base set of tracks and cylinders. The computer then translates or maps these values into actual storage locations. This approach is called as virtual sequential access method, that is VSEAM methods. The operating system can move file to any location. A database can find individual piece of data just for specifying and retrieving a distance or offset value. And the virtual and relative address always for better because the portability. So once the data will be stored in a virtual address means it is portability. You can accessing in any way from that locations. Our next topic is data storage method is indexes. Index method provides a fast, random and sequential access tables from predetermined sort of conditions. Index are small enough to fit in a RAM memory. RAM accesses millions of times faster than the access for the data stored in a rotating disk drive. So here each and every table having many indexes. So already I told that indexes, the main purpose of the indexes is to accessing a data much faster when compared to other data storage methods. So indexes highly supports from the high speed access to any data columns. This is a simple example for the index value. Here index 1 which points to the block 1. The actual file will be stored in a block files. That is, here we have 3 blocks and index 1, index 2, index 3. The first index 1 is pointed to block 1 and index 2 points to block 2 and index 3 is points to block 3. So that is the random sequential method will be placed in this index methods. 3 kind of index method. One is dense index, sparse index and primary index. Dense index means for every records we are having a one entry in the index file. A sparse index means only one record for each block we can have it in an index file. And primary index means both the consider of the primary key and ordered data. But the drawbacks of the indexes is, there are 2 drawbacks for indexes. One is if the index stored in a sequential means there is a difficulty for inserting a row by row. if you want to adding a new row from that means it is sequential order. If it is in a sequential order means we cannot finding the which block the particular row or particular new row can be inserted on the blocks. And the second drawback is regardless for the how the index is stored. And next one is binary search. The next method is binary search. Binary search keeps the splitting the data set in a half unit it finds its desired key. So the overall the entire key will be divided into two set of keys, split it into two set of key. You can easily finding the desired key. With the help of this desired key you can easily finding the records. The sorted index can be searched rapidly using the binary search. So here the binary search is very useful for searching a large number of tables. If you have a large number of table means with the help of the binary key you can easily finding the which this kind of value where it is stored in a different values. And next one is linked list. So linked list is another technique for splitting a data even further for than the sequential index. So when a linked list means any data element can be stored in a separately. The pointer which points to the link of the next data item. Index element which consists of three parts. One is key value, the another one is the pointer associated with the data element, and another one is pointer to the next data element. To retrieve the data in sequentially means first the element and follow link to the next to the element. The searching element is first point to the first element, the first link, first data, and then that data is linked with the next set of data. The strength of the linked list is lies ability to easily and rapidly insert and delete the data. And this inserting a new key row into the linked list requires three basic steps. One is store the data and store the index element. Find the point in the index to insert the new row using binary search. Change the link pointers. So if you want to in this linked list, if you want to insert in middle of the pointer means with the help of the binary search key and then pointers you can easily understand, you can easily inserting the particular data into the any kind of insertion from that starting to end of the element. And next one is B plus tree. This technique for B plus tree balanced tree 4 follows multiple level index format. So multiple level index format is supporting for this B plus tree. The leaf nodes of the B plus tree denotes actual data pointers. Here the leaf node of this pointer for actual data will be reside in this leaf node. B plus tree ensure that all leaf nodes remain the same height and thus balanced. Additionally, the leaf nodes linked using the linked list, B plus tree can support the random access as well as the sequential access method. So every leaf node is a equal distance from the root node, and then it is a n for n fixed for the B plus tree. For example, here D, G for 3 index value, 3 data element. In this, the 3 data element which points to the 3 different kind of leaf nodes. This is a basic structure of B plus tree. It is an internal node for the first root node is taken as an internal node. This internal node which points to left node and right node. Left node which points to 3 and 7, 8. Here the right node which points to the next element of 8, and then left node for 7 which points to the next leaf node of this. So the key value if it is in 1 and data pointer is points for the last node, and the sibling pointer is points to the 8 for the existing node, and then the equal level which is balanced for the B plus tree. Here the root level for 0 and second level 1 and third level is level 2. It starts from the root node is 0. Here two kinds of nodes, one is internal node and then leaf node. Internal node is a non-leaf node which contains at least n by 2 pointers except the root nodes, and the internal nodes are which contains n pointers, and if it is a leaf node means which pointers by the which contains at least n by 2 record pointers and n by 2 key values. That is, it must be for balanced node. every leaf node which contains one block pointer P to point to the next leaf pointer and forms a linked list. So it is a B plus tree, it forms a linked list format. And these are the basic rule for B plus tree, that is set the m greater than of 3, that is level the depth of the tree is 3, either the odd number, every, that is except the root node must be between the m by 2 and m children node. All leaf nodes are the same level and depth, and all key values displayed in a bottom leaves. Then non-leaf nodes with the n children with the n minus 1 key values. Leaves are connected with the pointers, either the sequential axis or random axis. It's the same rules. And what are the advantages of B plus trees means? It provides the guarantees for level of performance for accessing to those data. The tree also provides a fast sequential access method for retrieving a data. Every element can be found in the same number of searches which determined by the depth of the tree. It provides the best overall performance for typical data, sequential retrieval, random lookup table, and changing the data to the data to the database. Our next one is direct and hashed access. Here direct and hashed access key storage method is used for super fast random access method with the help of the hashed access. Stored all the key values needed for the number of storage location. For example, here the search key is 100, 101, 102, 103 means through this hash you can locate it in a different data buckets. For 101 which points to the IOS, and 101 which points to the database, and 102 which points to the here the HTML, and one. So based on the key value which is connected to the storage location number. And then the advantages of hashed access is this method is extremely fast for finding the storing of random data. The best for transaction operations that require instances for the retrieval for small amounts of data will help for this hashed access. And the disadvantages of hashed access is little and no provision for sequential retrieval of data. This hashed access only for accessing the fast random access storage retrieval of data. The method sets aside the storage space for the data is much space is required for before collecting the data. So because the number of location is pointed for the different kind of data means we need a more space required for this hashed access. Our next topic is data clustering and data partitioning. What is data clustering? A way to improve the data performance, the current control the location of individual components of the table. Data clustering means here the performance might improve the two set of data are retrieved together. Also collecting the data might not be accessed very often. So clustering of data, the database table are clustered in different kind of way in how we can get back from the retrieval of data. This technique can be achieved by using the data clustering and data partitioning. That is cluster analysis or clustering assignment of set of operations into subsets so that observations in the same cluster is same for some sense. For example, it is also for cluster analysis, unsupervised classification of data into various cluster. Clustering is a process of organizing a data into meaningful groups. These groups are also called as cluster. So data clustering means the data are split up into or partitioned into different kind of area. We can just cluster and with the help of the cluster analysis, grouping or otherwise processing of access, organizing those data into this same similar group. These groups are called as clusters. To improve the general system performance, and most of the computers retrieve the data in a chunks form. And advantages of data clustering is data improves application speed by reducing the number of disk accesses. Clustering is useful for several pattern analysis, grouping, decision making, machine learning situations including data mining, document retrieval and image segmentation and pattern classifications. We are using a data clustering methods. In Oracle database server which provide the create cluster command to define the tables and key columns. Next one is data partitioning, a technique to improve the application performance or security for splitting a tables across the multiple locations. So both the data clustering and partitioning used only for the performance of the the application performance as well as the security concern we are using for data clustering and data partitioning. Data partitioning is a process of logically or physically partitioning a data into segments that are more easily maintained or accessed. Partitioning of data helps the performance and utility processing. Two types of partitioning, one is horizontal partitioning and vertical partitioning. Horizontal partitioning means putting a different rows into different tables, that is perhaps for customer with zip code less than 50,000 are stored in a customer east, while customer with zip code is greater than 50,000 means are stored in a customer. So partitioning of data in a different kind of way based on the data storage, you can clustering or other you can partitioning a different table in these two criteria, either the customer code based on the zip codes greater than less than 50,000 of zip code stored in a customer east table, and greater than the zip code of thing is stored in a customer west. So two partition tables, then the customers east and customer west, while view with the union might be create over the both them to complete the view of the customers. So if you want the easily, you can be viewing the customer for this two criteria, either the 50,000 of zip code or otherwise less than the zip code. Some of the rows that is active customers will be stored in a one location, or others may be stored in a different locations. The active data will be stored in a high speed disk drives, and then the horizontal split data can be stored in a location where it is the user is most. The user does not need to know about the split because the DBMS automatically retrieve the data from either the location. So database administrator automatically it maintains all those things. That is, if suppose the splitting of the user cannot bother, you cannot bother about the split of the data. And vertical partitioning means it involves creating a table with fewer columns and additional tables stored in a remaining columns. For example, here the data is stored in a faster drive, move to cheaper and slower drives. Vertical partitioning is useful for limiting amount of data which is needed for read into the memory. Overall performance will improve because DBMS will be able to retrieve more smaller rows. So for example, technical data and images that are not accessed very often can be stored in a high capacity, low but slower optical drive. So we are using from this technical data and images stored in a vertical partitioning mode. And next storage method is data stripping and RAID storage. What is RAID? That is redundant array of independent disk. Here the multiple drives and single host of unit using with this RAID level. With this RAID level, which provides the opportunity to increase performance via the parallelism and data availability via the redundancy. So cheap of cost when via commodity disk. In performance way, how can the data stripping is performance for considering for two kind of performance. One is throughput and bandwidth. So chunk size is tunable bit for bandwidth versus throughput turnover. What is throughput means? Here the data can be moved from one location to another location with the stipulated time. We are using that time period, within the time period how the data can be transmitted or how the data can be moved. And here the bandwidth means here the amount of data can be transmitted from the fixed amount of data or a fixed amount of period. Here the large chunk means it concern for the high throughput. If small chunk means it concern for the high bandwidth. We have a 5 drive that is in this 5 drive the chunks sizes are saved in this disk drive. Chunk 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is the basis, the sequential order the drives or the chunks or devices are stored in a drive manner. First one, next one is availability. This for performance based on the throughput and bandwidth. And next one is availability, that is redundancy. So here mirroring and stripping of with priority. A same data written with both the disk means the same pattern will be moved in a single host of unit, that is 1 and 1. If suppose stripping with parity means data stream or IO stream can be multiplexed with the across the multiple disks depending on the bandwidth as well as the throughput. The parity of data is stored in a disk. So here the different kind of data stream, that is different kind of patterns will be stored in a different kind of disk. So add the XORed parity bit which increase the availability. Parity redundancy means here the parity will be calculated for the hexar of data every disk with the RAID unit. So here data for 0 parity means first pattern, second level 1, level 2 and 0 parity of here the each and every parity pattern is saved in a different disk. Any single disk data can be recovered by the XORing data of the surviving the disk. So different types of RAID levels. Here many to choose from this. That is each offers multiple trade-offs based on the performance, availability and cost. The different levels is offered. One is RAID level 0, 1, 3, 5 and 10. It starts from the RAID level 0. So in this RAID level 0, data stripping with no redundancy. So that is high performance and low availability. Data stripped with the multiple disk and multiple threaded access for this. For example, data stream or IO stream can be stripped according with the multiple disk. So here 5 types of data design patterns will be stored in a different disk. There is no redundancy. To avoiding the redundancy, we are using for this high performance and low availability. And RAID 0 with stripping means chunk size is tunable for bandwidth and throughput. That is here there is no redundancy. So just all the data chunk files are stored in each and every kind of disk drive. And next one is RAID 1 is mirroring image, or otherwise mirroring disk. So disk mirroring is single disk performance but expensive in availability. So data 100% duplicated with both the splinters. For example, both the device. Here the only one single pattern will be stored in a same unit of disk. So same data will be written in both the disk. So no segmenting. Next one is RAID 1 as well as 0 means stripped with mirrors, high performance and most expensive availability. Here the multi-threaded access will be used for this data RAID level 0 and 1. And RAID level 3 means data stripping with dedicated parity drive. So RAID level 3rd level and onwards for parity level checking for this here. A high bandwidth performance and cheap availability. So bandwidth performance based on this amount of data will be transmitted through the fixed amount of data. So sector granular for data stripping is here the 5 data patterns are stored for XOR parity data. That is data stream is stripped across the n-1 with high bandwidth. And RAID level 3 for stripping is chunk size with single sector and single byte. So all parity bit with the single byte. So first here the first 4 drive for store it in a chunk files, that is 0 to 99 and the remaining the last drive only accessing with the parity bit. So all parity bit data will be binding with this disk drive 5. RAID 5 means data stripping with rotating the parity drive. So here rotating the parity drive means that is each and every disk having a own parity. So that is for high read performance and expensive with the write performance and cheap availability. That is, for example, disk drive 1 having a parity and drive 2 parity bit. So parity bit is commonly divided for each and every disk. Chunk size is turned such typical IO signs with a single disk. And then the rotates among with the parities to avoid the write the bottlenecks. The general overview of RAID level is RAID 0 means data stripping with no redundancy, that is it performs the high performance and low availability. RAID 1 means mirroring image, in this mirroring for moderate performance but expensive is high, and RAID level 1.0 means stripping as well as mirroring, here the high performance but expensive highly for availability. And RAID level 3 for stripping single parity disk, it is high bandwidth performance but cheap availability. RAID level 5 for stripping and rotating the parity disk, that is high throughput performance and cheap availability. Thank you.